A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. While much of the global economy struggles against headwinds of uncertainty and slowdown, India is accelerating ahead. Backed by strong fundamentals and growing investor confidence, the country is poised for 7.4% this fiscal year, emerging as one of the world's fastest growing major economies. Here's why India's growth story stands apart. Take a look.
Powered by robust manufacturing output, buoyant services activity, and sustained construction growth, India's economy is defying global headwinds. As advanced economies struggle to regain momentum, strong domestic demand, steady infrastructure spending, and a renewed manufacturing push are driving India's rise as a rare growth engine. Fresh data projects GDP growth of 7.4% in fiscal year 2025-26, up from 6.5% last fiscal year.
All of us are aware now India is expected to grow by 7.4% in FY26. These are very impressive numbers. If you place things in a proper historical and comparative perspective, we find that the global economy is growing something by 2.2%. Advanced economy is growing by about 0.5% or thereabouts. And even in the emerging markets group, India has become something like an outperformer, an outlier.
India's strong growth outlook is being bolstered by steady policy reforms and closer government-industry engagement, helping restore investor confidence and spur expansion. During the fiscal year, income tax relief for the middle class and GST rate cuts across a wide range of products helped revive consumption by boosting disposable incomes and easing retail prices. These measures encouraged discretionary spending across FMCG, consumer durables and services. Government data show real gross value added is projected to grow 7.3% in fiscal year 2026, up from 6.4% last year, while government spending is expected to rise 5.2%, sharply higher than 2.3% increase in fiscal year 2025.
I had the privilege of interacting with the government frequently because of the CII and other bodies. And one thing I think, ease of doing business, they're doing a lot of work. And we of course would like more on that front, whether it's on the financial side, the processes side, system side, customs management side, export side, everything. And they're very proactive, which is very happy. We are happy. Secondly, I think the government is very...
As reforms deepen and demand stays resilient, India's growth story looks set to endure, reinforcing its position as a global outperformer and a key driver of economic momentum in an uncertain world. India's trade diplomacy reached new heights in 2025, with landmark free trade agreements signed with the UK, Oman and New Zealand, alongside active negotiations across Europe, Africa, Latin America and Eurasia. With 13 active FTAs and growing exporter engagement, 2025 is widely seen as a pivotal year that expanded India's global market access, boosted investment inflows, and cemented its influence in the international economic arena.
It's also our third FTA with a Five Eyes nation, Australia, UK and now New Zealand. We are soon going to launch discussions for the terms of reference with Canada also. And we are already at an advanced stage in our discussions with the USA. This reflects the growing strategic importance of India in world geopolitics.
India's robust domestic growth, underpinned by reforms and rising investor confidence, combined with an assertive global trade strategy, is positioning the country as a resilient economic powerhouse. With expanding FTAs and strategic partnerships, India is emerging as a credible, forward-looking leader on the world stage.
Moving on. India's diplomatic engagement in Europe has yielded significant results. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar successfully concluded a 6-day visit to France and Luxembourg, strengthening India's strategic partnerships and underscoring New Delhi's expanding influence on the global stage. Take a look.
At a time of global uncertainty and shifting geopolitical equations, diplomacy has become a key tool for nations to safeguard interests and build strategic partnerships. India continues to expand its global footprint through active engagement with major powers and regional blocs. In this direction, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has successfully concluded a 6-day visit to France and Luxembourg, reinforcing India's growing influence in Europe. In Paris, Jaishankar met French leadership and held detailed talks with his counterpart, Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot. The discussions focused on strengthening the India-France strategic partnership and exchanging views on key global and regional developments.
France is amongst our oldest strategic partner, the first in Europe. And I believe, Minister, that our continuous conversation is an important part of nurturing that relationship. Now, our particular meeting takes place in the larger context of considerable global uncertainty. And in such a situation, it is natural that strategic partners consult very closely. We must and we are making full use of the various mechanisms we have in different domains. We've just had a very productive exchange of views on global and regional issues.
During his visit to Luxembourg, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar engaged with members of the Indian diaspora, acknowledging their contribution in deepening people-to-people ties between the two countries. Addressing the gathering, Jaishankar underlined the steady expansion of India-Luxembourg relations, particularly in areas such as political cooperation, finance, technology, and innovation. The External Affairs Minister also shared India's perspective on key international developments, expressing concern over the evolving situation in Venezuela and emphasizing the importance of dialogue to ensure the safety and well-being of its people.
Yes, we are concerned at the developments, but we would really urge all the parties involved to now sit down and come to a position which is in the interest of the well-being and the safety of the people of Venezuela. Because at the end of the day, that is our concern. That we would want Venezuela as a country with whom over many years we've had very good relations. So we would like the people to come out well from whatever is the direction of events.
Overall, the visit underlined India's proactive diplomacy and its commitment to deepening engagement with Europe. From strategic consultations with key partners to outreach with the Indian diaspora, the engagements reflected New Delhi's balanced approach to global challenges.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar expressed concern over the safety of the people of Venezuela in the aftermath of U.S. strikes and the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. He urged all parties involved to engage in dialogue and reach a resolution that prioritizes the well-being and security of Venezuelans. Emphasizing India's long-standing friendly relations with Venezuela, Jaishankar said the country's stability and the interests of its people remain India's primary concern. Japan has condemned China's recent decision to ban exports of dual-use items that could have military applications, calling the move absolutely unacceptable and deeply regrettable. The export restrictions appear to be Beijing's latest response to remarks made in early November by Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi, who said that a Chinese attack on the democratically governed island of Taiwan could constitute an existential threat to Japan. Protests across Iran are growing increasingly bold despite a heavier deployment of armed security forces, with demonstrators defying a visible crackdown as government efforts to contain a deepening economic crisis continue to falter. Rising inflation, currency depreciation, and shortages of basic goods have fueled public anger, while authorities have struggled to offer effective solutions, prompting larger and more organized demonstrations in cities across the country. Thousands of Kurds in Syria's Hasaka took to the streets in protest to show solidarity with Kurdish residents of the Sheikh Maksud and Ashrafia districts in Aleppo, where fighting had erupted between the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces and government forces. The clashes in the northern city of Aleppo left at least 4 people dead and several others wounded, according to state media, with the government and the Syrian Democratic Forces trading blame for the violence. The fighting marked the latest outbreak of unrest in Aleppo, as officials sought to push forward a deal aimed at resolving one of Syria's deepest remaining fractures by integrating the US-backed SDF into the central government structure.
Forced disappearances, collective punishment, and the suppression of dissent are not isolated incidents but a part of the long-standing pattern in Pakistan's Balochistan province. This week, that pattern drew attention in London, where Baloch activists staged a protest outside the UK's centre of power, accusing Pakistan's military of intensifying repression. A report.
Outside 10 Downing Street, members of the Baloch National Movement held a demonstration to draw global attention to what they describe as a systematic campaign of state violence in Balochistan. Protesters say enforced disappearances, a tactic repeatedly documented by human rights organizations, have become one of Pakistan's most powerful tools to crush political resistance. What alarms activists now is a visible shift. Women, young girls, and even children are increasingly being targeted. During the London protest, demonstrators demanded the immediate recovery of several Baloch women: Mehjabeen Baloch, Nasrina Baloch, Farzana Baloch, Hani Baloch and Hernasa, who they allege were taken into custody by Pakistani security forces from different regions of Balochistan and forcibly disappeared. According to protesters, targeting women is intended to break the social fabric of Baloch society, applying pressure on families and communities already living under constant surveillance and intimidation by the state.
पूरा बलोच कौमा माँ ये पैगाम दे गलोटी के निंदगा मैं कैस्ते अकमारा नरसी मारा कैस्ते पादा गलोटी हर हंद और दमगा कैस्ते वती माँ तो ग्वार वती कौमी वास्ता आवाज चिस्त कनक लोटी माँ गिला कनगा नहीं पाकिस्तान आचे माँ जाने कौमी तरीका निता ये बड़े जुल्म बूता वैसा चिगेश पाकिस्तान में सरा जुल्म काम भले हमा कौम परस के नाम ने आदस्ता आनी सरा ज़रूर सवाल कनक भी या कि इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी हस्ते कि आवती चम बंद कुता आनी सरा मावती सवाला कने मावती कुकारा कने ओ ए पैगाम मदे गलोटी कि मैं जालबूल ओ ग्वार बरगाचे पाकिस्तानी सरपद मबी के बलोच कौम वती कौमी आज़ादी जद्दोजहदाचे यकीन चम पुश्ता भी.
For decades, Balochistan has remained Pakistan's most militarized province. Thousands of cases of enforced disappearances have been reported, with families accusing security forces of abducting civilians without warrants, due process or legal accountability. Many of the disappeared are later found dead, others are never seen again. Activists argue that this policy of fear is reinforced by media censorship, internet shutdowns, mass arrests, and the criminalization of peaceful protest, ensuring that voices from Balochistan rarely reach the outside world. The protest also condemned what activists call Pakistan's broader crackdown on peaceful human rights movements. Leaders and supporters of Baloch Yakjehti Committee, a collective that has led mass protests against enforced disappearances, have allegedly been arrested, detained despite court bail, and subjected to prolonged incarceration. Names cited include Dr. Mehrang Baloch, Bebo Baloch, Gulzadi Baloch, Debgar Baloch and Sibgatullah Baloch. Baloch activists allege that alongside arrests, an organized campaign of online harassment and character assassination, particularly targeting Baloch women, is being carried out under state patronage.
Been more than 8 to 10 cases where Baloch girls, a girl as old as 15-year-old Nasrina Baloch was picked up, Majibeen, a woman who is 8 months pregnant, she was picked up along with another family member of her, a female family member of her. So there's so many cases that the Baloch women are being targeted by the Pakistani state. Now, the Baloch women are being targeted because the Baloch women are leading the Baloch struggle at the moment in Balochistan, be it in shape of the Baloch Ekchati Committee, where Dr. Maharang Baloch, Sammideen Baloch, Bibo Baloch, Gulzadi Baloch, Dr. Sabia Baloch, and all other leaders, the female leaders, are actually leading the Baloch national struggle for the rights of the Baloch people. They're demanding that the enforcedly disappeared people to be returned to their home. They're demanding that the Baloch people should have the right on their national resources, and then Baloch national resources should not be plundered.
The protesters called on the British government to abandon what they termed diplomatic silence and urged international rights bodies, including Amnesty International, to pursue independent investigations into alleged war crimes, enforced disappearances, and collective punishment in Balochistan. They demanded international sanctions against Pakistani military officials, the immediate recovery of all forcibly disappeared persons, and global recognition of what they describe as a systematic campaign of repression against the Baloch people.
Devotees from across India have gathered at Prayagraj Sangam for Magh Mela 2026. The air is alive with chants, sacred hymns and devotion. Bathing in the Ganga during Magh is believed to cleanse sins, and for many families, this spiritual ritual is a cherished moment of faith, reflection and togetherness. Take a look.
A large crowd has gathered at the Sangam, joining in Bhajan Kirtan as Magh Mela 2026 begins. Devotees from across India thronged Prayagraj on January 3rd to take holy dips at the confluence of three sacred rivers, Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati. This month-long festival dedicated to Lord Brahma holds deep religious significance. Pilgrims believe that bathing in the Ganga during this time cleanses sins. The festival began on Posh Purnima, the first full moon of Magh, considered highly auspicious for spiritual purification.
माघ के महीने का इतना बड़ा महत्व बताया है कि यहाँ सभी के पाप पुण्य कट जाते हैं आने से, और यहाँ पूजा पाठ करने से सभी साधु संत आते हैं। यहाँ आने के बाद एक महीना कल्पवास करते हैं, दान पुण्य करते हैं, व्रत करते हैं, कथाएं कराते हैं, और जो भी देवता मनुष्य किन्नर प्रेत जिन जो भी होता है सभी लोग एक महीना यहाँ वास करते हैं।
This sacred gathering sees devotees performing rituals, reciting sacred texts and offering donations as they immerse themselves in the spiritual energy of the Sangam. Women actively participate in morning aarti ceremonies, while families take their holy dips together.
स्नान करने के लिए आए हैं, स्पेशल आए हैं। हाँ, शनिवार के दिन आए, माघ पूर्णिमा। आज देखो कितना रश है, भीड़ देखो। पुलिस वालों ने हर एक मतलब सिक्योरिटी वगैरह बहुत अच्छी है, बहुत अच्छी है।
For many, this sacred ritual is more than a holy dip. It is a celebration of faith, reflection and togetherness. Magh Mela highlights the enduring power of tradition, community and devotion. As the sun sets over the Sangam, devotees leave with hearts full of joy, hope and blessings, carrying memories that will last a lifetime. Truly, Magh Mela is a festival where spirituality and celebration come together in the most vibrant and uplifting way.
Magh Mela is more than ritual. It's a vibrant celebration of India's living traditions and cultural tapestry. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.